welcome all of you to the Prime Minister's monthly press conference. We say a special good afternoon to listeners to ZIZ Radio, Choice FM, Win FM, Sugar City Rock, and Freedom FM, who are carrying the live press conference through their airwaves. At this time, we invite the Right Honourable Prime Minister, Dr. Denzil Douglas, to give his opening statement, and then we will entertain questions from members of the local press corps. Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Erasmus, our Press Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, good afternoon and welcome. Today, I wish to address a number of issues. One, the Federation's strong fiscal performance as we prepare to go into the budget for 2013. Secondly, our nation's highly competitive cruise tourism metrics. And three, relief for consumers of energy. First, as you know, Haiti recently hosted the 24th intersessional meeting of CARICOM. And my fellow CARICOM heads of government and I traveled there to focus as a group on the priority issues we have identified as being key to the regional security and advancement. One of the major issues discussed in Haiti was crime, with Trinidad and Tobago presenting to the community an 18-point regional crime fighting strategy. Because we here in the Federation have made such remarkable progress in our own fight against crime, I was certain to share with my colleagues the regionally applicable components of our own overall strategy, such as first-rate leadership, equipment and infrastructure upgrades, targeted and ongoing training, informed utilization of opportunities for international collaboration, such as the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, and so on. My point is that St. Kitts and Nevis has long insisted that in order for any Caribbean nation to address crime head-on, there must be a strong regional and international component. In fact, I should say components. And it is quite gratifying to see this becoming increasingly the sense throughout the region. Now, to the three matters I wish to discuss today, however, I start with the International Monetary Fund, which has once again highlighted the very dramatic progress made by St. Kitts and Nevis in the area of debt reduction. Since our last press conference, the fund has noted that St. Kitts and Nevis, formerly a heavily indebted nation, had implemented a series of fiscally responsible measures: the introduction of value-added tax, the implementation of needed tax reform, the successful restructuring of the Federation's debt, and in the process had reduced the national debt almost by half. The social and economic advantages to our nation, to any nation that is able to do this, these are quite clear. And this is in fact taking place just before we move into the presentation of the budget for 2013. You would recall that this was postponed in December, and we are now just about getting ready to make that presentation to the nation, to the parliament of this nation, as we move forward with our own economic and fiscal agenda as we recover from the very challenging period that we have gone through as a result of the prolonged global fiscal and economic challenge that we have been facing. But not only did we long ago announce our own determination to properly manage and dramatically reduce the nation's debt, but we have also repeatedly made clear of our determination to compete at the highest levels where our tourism industry is concerned. We made it clear that we would not allow our small landmass or our tiny population to be in any way an impediment to first-rate performance. And we now have some statistics that demonstrate our own effectiveness in this regard. Cruise arrivals, as you know, have been an important component of our own strategic mix. And so I'm pleased to report that based on a report from the FCCA's most recent economic impact study, our efforts in tourism have resulted in St. Kitts and Nevis now being amongst the highest rated destinations in the entire Caribbean region. According to the research, we note the following. 1, cruise arrivals increased by some 400% in the past 6 years. 2, total direct spending by cruise passengers visiting St. Kitts is now 10 times higher, 10 times greater than it was back in 2006. It was some $6.7 million, and it is now $70 million. And this is at a time when cruise passengers spending across the Caribbean has fallen by some 2%, and during a global recession at that. I emphasize that hard work pays off, and this government has been determined to ensure that travelers see St. Kitts as an attractive and desirable destination, so that the countless nationals whose livelihoods depend on tourism would operate with an ever-increasing sense of economic security. And our efforts are bringing returns. Asked to compare the Federation with countries throughout the Caribbean, Central and South America, for example, only one country ranked higher than St. Kitts in terms of overall visitor satisfaction. And only one country ranked higher than St. Kitts when travelers were asked whether the destination met or exceeded expectations. Here, as with our debt reduction program, the positive ramifications for the economy are quite clear. Finally, since our last press conference, the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation has announced its intention to absorb the 6% custom service charge that had formerly been paid by the St. Kitts Electricity Company and then passed on to the consumer. I want to emphasize that this is in addition to the subsidy almost now 2 years ago that has been provided to stabilize the price of LPG or cooking gas here in our country, especially in St. Kitts. Also, the SIDF is about to get involved in stabilizing the cable television rates, which were announced earlier to be possibly increased. And they are coming in as a strategic partner, we are told, in order to help to ensure that the cable television company would be able to carry out its strategic expansion plan, but at the same time not putting any burden on the consumers who are utilizing this important utility. This intervention by the SIDF provides much needed relief to the public at large, providing yet another example of the very many ways in which the Sugar Industry Diversification Fund continues to advance the interest of the state by providing much needed economic support, whether directly or indirectly, in this time of global difficulty, to organizations and individuals throughout the land who have demonstrated a very clear and readily understood need. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, I stop here and I will take your questions.
Let
me use this opportunity and ask that before you come, we pay 1 minute silence on the passing and finally burial last week Friday in Birmingham of the body of the late Gus Williams, who himself was a member of this group on a monthly basis. Thank you.